Welcome back, Cordelines, to more grim fucking Fandango. Let's walk.
I'm not setting foot down there. The slightest bump could start those dominoes tumbling.
That's fucking the whole point. Hello?
Someone told me like this was the moment they cried in the game, just hearing how scared Glottis was in the scene, because he gets really frightened. And it's actually a reference to a claim that a babysitter made about me when they were babysitting me. They said, "Oh, gee, you were so scared when your parents." You would sit there and you'd say, "Mother, mother, I'm frightened." And I was like, "No, okay. First of all, I never said that. I never said mother."
Yeah, that's suspicious right there.
But it got to be this family joke. "Mother, I'm frightened, mother." And so that line actually got in the game.
Well, I think it's one of the real challenges for adventure games because so many things you make for an adventure game are single use, like single use animation, single use scenes, single use textures. They're all like you do a first person shooter, you do adventure game, like a platform or something like that. There's so many animations that get reused so many times throughout the whole game. And an adventure game, a huge amount of it is just custom throwaway, meant to be seen once or twice, and occasionally all the time, like walk cycles, but. It's not like Mario, at the time they were doing Mario 64, and it's like Mario has, a ridiculous number of animations, but it's a finite set, and it's like they can all be loaded at all times. In this game, you have to dynamically load all the animations as they're needed, and you have to make sure they're available before they're triggered so you don't get these glitches, and while you wait for them. And a lot of them they're thrown away. They have to get, every single one has to be individually processed by a human to get them into the game and potentially rigged up. And that's one of the challenges of making adventure games is that you have all these sort of custom things and you want to reuse them as much as possible. But in order to do that, you have to automate a lot of stuff, automate as much processing as you can. But you still have to have that ability to fix things. In film, we'll fix it in post. It's the same kind of thing. It's like we'll fix it in the engine or we'll fix it in the tool as opposed to we'll fix it in the source art.
And that's the, like you can walk to any room you want and like all the little one-off assets. I think that's a unique challenge technically to adventure games that a lot of other games, other genres don't really have to address. But we're constantly like loading in custom stuff and kicking custom stuff out. And on this game, memory is tight. You walk into this room and we need 16-bit flipbooks of doors opening and closing and one-off animations of you may go and play the piano, you may not go and play the piano. And there's all this technical kind of tomfoolery going on of trying to get the content that maybe that somebody
might be used,
might not be used. You might just be running through this room to some other room, and it's not like loading up a level in a first-person shooter where you're like, okay, I know what's going to be in front of the user at any one point in time, and we're going to use the same bad guy 50 times over. So I just need to get the stuff to run the bad guy in memory. This was this constant dance of like just-in-time loading and management of stuff, because you could walk into this room and spend 10 minutes in this room and explore every bit of content that this room could offer you, or you could just be running through on your way to somewhere else.
Back to this other puzzle.
Yep.
I think I offended Tim once when I said, "Tim, you should write scripts for movies. This is such a great idea." And Tim said, I make video games. I want to make video games. Why are you telling me to do something different? And I felt bad.
You cried that time?
No, I only cry at night, late at night. But
Tim was often at the office at nighttime. I remember him.
Oh yes,
locking his office door and me trying to peek in between the curtains he laid over top of the glass, and he would be in there for days.
Wow.
Yep.
Yes.
When he finally got down to doing the dialogue stuff, I remember that it was always like a pressure valve that blew on him at one time or another, and he would just lock himself in and churn out this amazing dialogue.
No, I think Tim was a very intimidating person. To try and be funny around Tim was hard because he was so funny, and I never felt like I kind of rose to.
I relied on my funny Canadianness,
right,
and my looks. That was enough.
I think it was, yes, your biting wit.
I think I bested him one time with a facial expression that was not intentional.
What was the expression? Can you do it for the people on the commentary?
You'll see it in the game if you look hard enough.
Good Lord.
Amazing. Alrighty then. That's kind of gay.
But it was great. I mean, Grimm is definitely still sort of the most satisfying project I think I've ever worked on. It was just a lot of fun, and the Cuban actors, American actors, Irish actors, a guy from Hungary, just all over the place, just to bring that sort of diversity to it.
Cool.
I heard you went pow in Zapato, Daddy.
Well, Hector Lamans tried and missed. Now it's my turn. I'm headed to El Maro to put him out of business.
Manny, that place has changed. You don't know what you're getting into. I'd better come with you. Just give me a minute to get ready.
Okay, but if you hear a loud explosion anytime soon, the trip's off.
I remember some trickle-down drama from upstairs in the test pit towards the end where things didn't seem to be getting done as fast as whomever wanted them to be getting done, And I just remember, there was some question as to whether or not we'd have to cut a bunch of scenes or even a whole year from the game, or something, because stuff wasn't coming in.
That was terrifying.
Yeah.
Coffin shooter 1, 2, 3, just pour, chill, and serve. Coffin shooter 1, 2, 3, just pour, chill, and serve. I would, but I hate sucking gelatin straight from the tap.
Gross.
Actually, I think it was funny when you came in and you were all excited about working on this game. Like, I really like adventure games. I want to do this kind of thing. I want drama in games. And I think about Telltale, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's pretty much in keeping. It was a long time ago. But I remember when you came in, it was like your game that you had worked on was like a helicopter game. Where you
Helicopters.
Helicopters. And it was like as far different from this as you could possibly imagine a game would be. And I would not have imagined that a person who worked on helicopters was actually interested in it.
We're not interested in that shit. Let's see. We need to get back to the docks, which are fucking everywhere and nowhere. Glasgow!
Manuel Calavera? Well, what happened to the Limbo?
Hate to tell you, Velasco, but she went down at the Pearl. But we found a new ship, the SS La Mancha, and managed to...
The La Mancha? My old rusty bucket. Where is she?
Oh, well, we traded her in Puerto Zapato for a team of sled dogs.
That does it. I'm out of this stinking mob town.
But...
Thanks for finding my baby, Manny. Puerto Zapato, here I come.
Mob town?
Tim, how come you know so much about neurosis and psychosis? It's really.
I don't know if this is
quite
all. I
striking.
don't know if any of this is legitimate psychological knowledge or just what I learned from movies.
Well, speaking as sort of a crazy guy myself, it rings true to me.
Maybe I'll just finish this for him.
Yeah.
That's what the lumbago diorama needed. Fake ocean water.
Son of a bitch. The fuck are you doing? The hokey fucking pokey? Oh god. Oh god. Alright, stuck in a fucking glitch. That's fucking awesome. Alright, nice glitch. That caused me to have to go back quite a bit. So basically, the glitch, as far as I know, it fucks you up. If you try to use the bottle on Dingleberry from this position, he gets stuck. It doesn't work. And as you can see, the game locks up. Also, it can no longer hit escape. And it does this indefinitely. So, I have to actually quit out of the game and reload it. You have to do it from inside this room.
What's that? It's, lumbago lemonade. Try it. Perkly little aperitif,
That's
actually. Yes, sirree. Not bad, tall. Tell me where you got that right now! Olivia's kitchen. Lumbago lemonade!
Manny, aren't we in a hurry?
Don't worry, this won't take long. My stomach don't stretch like it used to.
Oh, Glottis.
Someone told me like this was the moment they cried in the game, just hearing how scared Glottis was in the scene, because he gets really frightened.
I think we listened to these already, but since I had to redo the game.
A claim that a babysitter made about me when they were babysitting me. They said, "Oh, gee, you were so scared when your parents. You would sit there."
Better talk to him from in here.
So what is that stuff they pack canned hams in anyway? my friend.
You wouldn't happen to have a breath mint on you, I suppose?
The gelatin is still liquefied. It wouldn't stop the dominoes from falling.
Now what? We need to turn it into a solid. Kinda gross.
I have to say, coming out of school, I felt super lucky to, first of all, be hired by LucasArts by some colleagues of mine who went to the same school, and to walk into this building and see all the concept art for this game on the walls. I was like a kid in the candy store. It was instant, euphoric inspiration, and I just felt like the luckiest guy in the world coming out of school, getting to work on a project of this caliber. It was beautiful.
That'll do it.
Hey, good idea. I bet I could keep it down now that it's cold.
Just let me get across first, okay? Well, here goes nothing. Looks like Hector's taken over the whole town.
He hasn't had much resistance. There's only one small group who oppose him, and they live out on the fringes of the city.
Places like this, you mean?
I hope they're not hurting Glottis.
Ha. Shows what you know about this group. Their leader is a great man who...
Manuel Calavera, we meet again. I see you have found what you were looking for. How fortunate for you to arrive now just as we too are about to achieve success. Our army has grown, and right now our top agents are in Hector's weapons lab, about to close in on the enemy in his own den. I couldn't have done it without you, Manuel.
It was a trap.
Stand back. There's only one thing to do.
Wow!
Thank you, sir. You have saved me. But more than that, you have enabled me to continue to serve the movement.
What did you say about a trap?
Hector uncovered our agent in his weapons lab.
No.
You idiot, Bowsley. Your new lab assistant is a spy. Haven't you ever heard of a background check?
What? No time to explain. Now I'll have to take matters into my own hands.
Take me with you. I've longed to be of service to your cause for years.
I bet the agent in this photo is the poor guy that Hector just shot. Who's the plant nut?
That nut is Hector LeMans' personal munitions expert, Bowsley, a.k.a. the florist. That was his job in the old world, but here he is a botanical weapons expert. This has left him fairly conflicted.
Why does he make Sproutella for Hector instead of our side?
We've been trying to recruit him for years, but his lab is in Hector's tower. He's untouchable.
Yeah, I remember having to get extensions. That was like my favorite. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I would have to go in because I'd be the same thing. Because I always advocate for the artist, and I did. I mean, that's why I loved working with Tim. He's so creative. And so we would talk and collaborate, and then when I'm like, no, look, this is the date, because I'm trying to say the date, and then he did the ship story. And so then we had to go get more time. And I was like, well, how are we going to do that? And then he was like, here's my technique. I go into Jack's office and I stay in there and I threaten to light myself on fire and I just scream and I stay in there until he extends the date. And I'm like, that's a great strategy.
Yeah, it worked.
I know. It works. Threaten to light myself on fire.
Well,
That's
see,
one
we
of
would
my
never
favorites.
try that in the sound department because Jack would just say, go ahead.
Yeah.
I know what you're up to. I've been watching. Stay there. I'm coming to sprout you myself. Yours truly, Hector LeMans. Okay, don't bite. This is a note. You like notes, remember?
I imagine these pigeons being all over the game, everywhere. And they just showed up in a couple places, and it made me sad.
I think I wrote up a crappy bug about that. And I said, we want more pigeons.
Thank you.
Closed.
I think we ran into the polygon limit, and we could only have so many. The pigeons,
Were
because
alpha flats. There were many alpha
yeah,
flats.
but there were a lot of them, and they were actually some of the highest poly things in the games.
It's my fault.
Because I think every bone got built on the pigeons.
They were actually really fun to animate.
Yeah, the pigeons were a real fiasco.
It's kind of
Sorry,
hard.
Alex.
It was my first
No,
experience.
I appreciate this. Finally brings some closure to the pigeon situation.
I think
I'm answering your bug right now.
Right now. I'm gonna
Let's
go
close
back
this
and
bug
check this
out.
off.
That was also my first experience animating something and not knowing how it was going to be used. So that was kind of like a different mental shift for me. And it was just the first time I had to make a bunch of idles and loops or takeoffs and lands that all had to work together. It was pretty interesting. I remember swearing.
Swearing? What the fuck is that?
Well, here goes nothing. Go, baby, por la revolución!
One of Hector's messengers. With a message for me? I know what you're up to. I've been watching. I'm coming to sprout you myself. Yours truly, Hector LeMans. I knew it! I knew he was out to get me the whole time! You'll never find my secret hideout, Hector. You're going to have to find yourself another Flores!
Interesting.
It's the part of that soldier that didn't get up and hop out of here on one hand. Better save this part from sprouting.
Remember one day Tony came into the studio and had a silk shirt on, and on top of the silk shirt he had a sort of a little sweater, sleeveless sweater. And we were recording, and it was like, God, what are we hearing? What are we hearing? And the engineer's like, oh, I think it's a sweater. And we're like, hey, Tony, can you take your sweater off? Takes the sweater off. Back to rolling again. Sound's still there. So he took his sweater off and went back to rolling, and turned out it was a shirt that was making the noise. And we were like, Tony, it's the shirt. It's a silk shirt. And so he's like, it's okay. I got a t-shirt on underneath. So he was down,
just stripping down.
He was stripping down into his t-shirt, and did the rest of the session in his t-shirt. But that was the thing with Tony, is he just loved, he loved working. And for part of the production, he was shooting at night on a movie. And there were a couple of days where he came in and he only had like a couple hours of, a few hours of sleep. And I remember saying, like, we can reschedule the session. And he's like, no, let's do it. And he always was
Nailed
there
it.
to give it his all.
Okay, here's the plan. I need a disguise so I can get close to Hector, and a gun so we'll have something to talk about when I get there.
If you figure out that part, I'll go find out where he is.
His casino tower is directly above these headquarters.
All right, meet me there.
Volunteers quickly for dangerous work. She could be very useful to the cause.
As far as I'm concerned, she is the cause.
One of the standard things that happens in noir is a guy meets a woman that just spirals him into a world of shadows and intrigue and stuff like that. And sometimes it's because it's a femme fatale who's up to no good, and sometimes it's also a totally innocent woman who just happens to be on this path that she's in sort of trouble, and he gets pulled into it. So you meet Meche in this world, and it spins Manny off into this whole different path. But it's really, for some reason, it was important to me that Manny was actually partially to blame, or feel like he was partially to blame.
Right.
Like he thought he had caused her to be lost.
Right.
When it was actually more Domino's fault that she got sent off. He stole her number 9 ticket.
Well, you didn't want to blame the woman,
Well,
say Double Indemnity does, or
yeah, where she was actually scheming and where this is more just someone who Manny feels like he has caused misfortune to come to.
right, or Maltese Falcon does, for that matter. Yeah.
So we can talk.
Oh my God!
Look at that.
I forgot about this set.
That looks like a painting or something. That's great.
Yeah, this is one of the. Yeah, when you get a Peter Chan drawing, this one was a Widowmaker as well, where you just thought, how does that pipe go into that?
Things didn't quite line up.
You know, I was going to say that environment with the pipes in it, it almost had like a Day of the Tentacle or Sam and Max feel to it. There's a lot of distortion in the pipes, and felt a little more wacky than what we see in the rest of the environments.
No, definitely.
Give me that.
I didn't put in too many late nights, but there was one where I was in the office at 2 in the morning just making notes on the script, and all of a sudden Chuck Jordan walks by my office and says, "Hi." And there was a way about him that 10 minutes later I got up from my desk and went over to his office and went in and said, "Did you just get in?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I get in at 2. At 2 in the morning." He's like, "Yeah." And I guess that he had put in so many late nights that his whole time clock had shifted. And so he said to Tim, he's like, "Hey, is it okay if I just come in at 2 in the morning?" And Tim was like, "Sure."
Two in the morning? I'm busy getting crunk at 2 in the morning. Of course, if I had the opportunity to work on an awesome LucasArts game, I would much rather do that than be getting crunk. Unless I could do both at the same time.
I remember the big wall of concept art that was like and 15 feet tall, and you'll see on the internet, probably see some of it on the special edition of these pencil drawings that are, and you only get to see them one at a time. But there were hundreds of them, and they were all pinned up to this giant corkboard.
Yeah, it's like wallpaper.
Like wallpaper. Yeah, and it was amazing to see this beautiful art transform from these pencil drawings on the wall into the game in front of you, and
it kept the style in a lot of cases. I mean, some of the things were the 3D
faithfulness.
scenes were amazing.
Yeah, the faithfulness to those original Peter Chan drawings is incredible.
It's not like Johnny Thunder lets just anybody in his review. No. I mean, being allowed to wear the Johnny Thunder makeup is an honor. Yes. A privilege. Yes. So I said to her, you give me that 10% discount or I'm taking my business elsewhere. You said that? Well, oh yes, I was mad, you know. And then, here's the good part. No kidding. Hey, get lost, pal. No autographs. Oh, are you here for the Thunder Boy tryouts?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's too bad. Because we just got the last 2 parts. Maybe next season.
One of the cool things about this game, too, is that there's a few characters that actually went through costume changes throughout the game, which was a nice detail.
No, and it really gives you a sense of time, time passing.
I am not kidding. You don't say. Of course, as soon as I save up enough money for a double-N ticket, I'm out of here. What? You can't just buy a double-N? Well, I know somebody who knows somebody who knows Hector Lamans. Wow, you know everybody.
Hey, out of the dressing room. We got all the Thunder Boys we need.
Really? I am a busy man.
Show business coffee. Little too hot for my pockets, thank you.
Save before something else fucks up, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.